This is the Ohio AgNet from the voice you know at the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF and Veltima fungicide, the proven #1 for the toughest corn diseases with long-lasting residual. When you need to be confident your fungicide will perform. I'm Ty Higgins. Visit the Greenville Farm Power of the Past at the Darke County Fairgrounds, July 9th, 10th, and 11th. You can learn more at greenvillefarmpower.org. Increasing phosphate fertilizer availability while lowering prices, the economics of fungicide in this year's crop, and the uncertain future of USMCA. This morning's newsfeed is delivered by Ebert's Field Seeds, proven local seed performance for Ohio farmers. It's time to start planting Ebert's. Call 937-473-2521 or visit online at ebertsseeds.com. The Trump administration is temporarily suspending duties on certain imported phosphate fertilizers from Morocco, a move farm groups say could provide meaningful relief from high input costs. President Trump signed a proclamation authorizing an 8-month suspension of countervailing duties on phosphate fertilizer imports. USDA says the actions intended to increase fertilizer availability, improve market competition, and lower one of agriculture's biggest production expenses. According to USDA estimates, the move could reduce phosphate fertilizer prices by about 22% and save American farmers roughly $1.8 billion each year, benefiting more than 100,000 farms across 97 million planted acres. Several agricultural organizations applauded the decision, including the Ohio Corn and Wheat Growers Association, which called it an important step in reducing production costs while urging policymakers to make the relief permanent. National Corn Growers Association President Jed Bauer, an Ohio farmer, also praised the action, saying fertilizer remains one of the largest expenses facing corn producers. You can read more on the story online now at ohioagnet.com. With corn and soybean crops advancing across Ohio, many growers evaluating whether a fungicide application will help protect yield potential. It's a decision that depends on several factors, and agronomist Luke Schulte with Beck's Hybrids weighs in with recent Practical Farm research results on the new Ohio AgNet podcast, and he says, the results shown in PFR match up with the economics of today in some aspects.
I know the commodity market isn't what many of us want to see, but refer to our PFR book. We've got a lot of information in there that has really been looked at, and evaluate a lot of different practices, just trying to make sure that we're evaluating everything we could potentially invest into a crop to justify expenses. And if you look back at our history, especially when a lot of those fungicide research and studies were done, we had commodity market very similar to today. $4 corn, $4.50 corn, $10, $11, $12 beans. Most of our soybean research in fungicides was done when we had a commodity market that was similar today. So I think it's easy to get in that trap that there's no way we can justify it. We had $15 beans several years ago, when the reality is a lot of our research anyway was done in a commodity market like we're experiencing today.
You can listen to the latest Ohio AgNet podcast online at ohioagnet.com. Let's get a check of the forecast now with Ryan Martin, brought to you by Seed Genetics Direct, the #1 fastest growing and largest Ohio-based independent seed company.
Overall, we expect this humidity and the moisture in the atmosphere to trigger some heat-based instability. Definitely looking at lighting things up with showers and thunderstorms across a large part of the state this afternoon, evening, and into the early overnight. I think we can see another 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch of moisture out of that. The rest of the week, slightly dialing back on that moisture. I think we get through tomorrow with nothing, and then we get into Wednesday, Thursday, starting to see heat build back in just a little bit, and with that, we can see an increase in thunderstorm potential near the Ohio River for probably Thursday, but then getting into Friday, statewide potential. Not a lot, but I think everybody's got a chance of rain at some point from Thursday late, probably midnight, right on through Friday and into early Saturday. We finish up the weekend with on-again, off-again showers and storms, plenty of warm and humid air. Next week starts drier before rains come back. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thank you, Ryan. What does the future of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement look like? Joel Penorwood has that story.
The U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement remains in place, but right now its long-term future now under review. And the trade deal links the U.S., Mexico, and Canada in roughly $2 trillion worth of annual trade. And for agriculture, the agreement especially important, with Canada and Mexico serving as major customers for U.S. farm goods. The Trump administration has declined to renew USMCA in its current form, instead moving the agreement into ongoing reviews with a possible expiration date in 2036. Canada and Mexico had pushed for a longer-term extension. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says the foundation of the agreement is still intact.
The underlying structure has been preserved. It continues to operate for 85% of our exports. It will remain in place for the next decade. But there are specific things that we can work together on.
Several American farm groups are making their reactions known. The U.S. Dairy Export Council says more than 40% of dairy exports by value go to Canada and Mexico. Pork producers also say trade under the agreement remains vital while welcoming continued negotiations. So right now, the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement continues, at least for the next 10 years, but agriculture will be watching closely as long-term talks take shape. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Joel Norwood reporting.
Joel, thank you. United Producers Incorporated has announced a key leadership promotion within the nation's largest livestock marketing cooperative. Jamie Graham has been named Senior Director of Livestock Operations after previously serving as Director of Facilities, Safety, and Assets. In his new role, Graham will oversee livestock operations across multiple United Producers markets, providing leadership and strategic direction to support efficient operations and member service. Graham joined United Producers in 2017 as facility manager at the Gallipolis market and has had several leadership positions since then. Company officials credit his operational experience and commitment to continuous improvement with strengthening the cooperative's facility, safety initiatives, and overall performance. Before joining UPI, Graham worked in livestock sales with Demkota Ranch Beef, served as sales and operations manager for Tri-State Beef, and worked as a meat inspector with the Ohio Department of Agriculture. He also co-owns RNC Packing with his wife Amy. You can read more online now at ohioagnet.com. If you're doing cover crops after wheat, what are some considerations as far as the mixes are concerned? We'll have more in today's featured audio coming up next here on the Ohio AgNet.
The Ohio Soybean Council is investing in research and innovation to help Ohio soybean farmers get more from every acre. Your checkoff supports research focused on improving yields, reducing costs, and finding solutions to pests and diseases. Through Arable Research Lab, your checkoff is helping bring new soy-based products to market because innovation on and off the farm helps create more opportunities for your soybeans. Visit soyohio.org to see how your Ohio soybean checkoff is driving innovation.
Be aware, ticks are there. As you head outdoors, remember to avoid tall grass, wear light-colored full-coverage clothing, and use EPA-registered repellent. Be sure to thoroughly check for ticks after you head in for the day. If you find any ticks, remove them carefully with tweezers and watch for symptoms such as fever, headache, or rash. For more information on ticks and tick bite prevention, head over to ohio.gov/ticks.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. I'm Ty Higgins. If you're putting in some cover crops after that wheat is harvested, what are some considerations as far as mixes are concerned? With more, here's Dusty Sonnenberg with today's featured audio.
Joining me today is Cody Beacom with Bird Agronomics. And Cody, we want to talk a little bit about cover crops, but more specifically cover crop blends. A lot of folks will get into cover crops early on, maybe through a soil and water program or otherwise, and do a cereal rye, which is a great way to start. But there's a real advantage agronomically out there to looking at different cover crop blends. Talk to that, if you will.
So let's start with after wheat. Certainly wheat harvest is on our tails right now. So after wheat, we have a couple options. Certainly the economics right now of double crop soybeans are hard to argue, but for somebody who's looking for an alternative or sees the multi-year benefits of a cover crop, we could look at something that would also double as a forage like sorghum Sudan or Sudan grass. Certainly numerous benefits with that. In addition, if we wanted to go simply a cover crop, after wheat harvest, some of the, I would almost say non-negotiables that I really like having into a blend would be sunflowers, also buckwheat. Buckwheat is really quick growing and it'll help unlock some subsoil phosphorus and really benefit your subsequent cash crop. In addition to that, it's a great opportunity to add radishes, even at a low rate, and also oats. There's certainly many other options we can add in, especially with the warm season species, but those are kind of a good starting point, I think, after that. Certainly, you could also add in some clovers, maybe even a light rate of rye or triticale that would kind of carry us through the winter into the next spring. Honestly, the options are very wide open after wheat. After that, some common things we like after corn going to soybeans, simply cereal rye, like you mentioned, is a good gateway drug per se. So that's a great way to get started. You could even reduce that rate a little bit and add something like kale or rapeseed in with that. So for many of the programs, that's commonly what we add to be able to get that rye or cereal grain rate a little bit lower and have it a little more palatable to plant into in the spring. If we're going to corn, say from soybeans to corn, honestly, one mix that's becoming a fan favorite that we really like for a couple of reasons. It will help to get some nitrogen out there, but also it's thinner and a little bit shorter and just simply easier to plant into, especially for folks kind of getting started down this path. And that would be a mixture of a light rate of barley, crimson clover, and kale. You could actually add some winter peas in with that, and we've been very happy with that. We've done some testing on that. It brings in a respectable amount of nitrogen that would be available most likely for that subsequent corn crop, and it's also thin, and folks really enjoy planting into it. So I think that's a good starting point from there. Certainly a conversation could be had for everybody's operation being a little bit different. Those are some favorites that we like.
As far as thoughts getting it planted, we see a lot of folks that will just go out and drill it in with a no-till drill. Others may try and broadcast or sort of blow it on with the vertical tillage tool. And then, of course, you've got some that like to try and broadcast it with the drone. Thoughts in each of those different scenarios? What do you guys need to keep in mind?
Certainly every operation kind of has its pros and cons. And I think some of the operations that we've worked with that are most successful use a combination of all of the above that you just mentioned. I don't think it's hard to debate the benefit of seed to soil contact, but certainly manpower and efficiency are a definite factor on many operations, especially in the fall time with the hustle and bustle of harvest.
Again, my guest today is Cody Beacom with Bird Agronomics. We are talking cover crops, cover crop blends, and different forms of establishment. Cody, thanks so much for the time and info.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Dusty. Back with the markets and some analysis next as the Ohio AgNet continues.
Are you looking for the latest in Ohio agriculture? Well, you can get it all in one place. The Ohio AgNet Podcast. Join us as we sit down with farmers, experts, and ag leaders from across the Buckeye State. From the latest news to interviews that matter, we're here to keep you informed and connected. Whether you're in the tractor, the truck, or the shop, we bring the conversation to you. Search Ohio AgNet Podcast on your favorite app or find it on Facebook or YouTube. Don't miss a minute of the Ohio AgNet Podcast. Subscribe today.
Life on the farm moves fast, and so does the news that matters to you. Stay ahead with the Digital Daily from Ohio AgNet and Ohio's Country Journal. Each morning, get the top ag headlines, market trends, weather updates, and the stories shaping Ohio agriculture, all delivered right to your inbox. It's free, it's easy, and it keeps you informed before the day gets going. Sign up now at ohioagnet.com for the Digital Daily and get yours first thing in the morning. Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. I'm Ty Higgins, and this morning's market analysis is brought to you by Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to bring a brand new soybean crush facility to Upper Sandusky. Learn more about marketing your soybeans with LDC at 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets were closed on Friday in support of the Independence Day holiday. However, as we get back to trade this week, couple of stories to pay attention to. Corn futures ended the week firm last week on Thursday. Recent weeks have been dominated by liquidation of July contracts, but the loss of 3.5 million acres of corn seeding in 2026 is expected to guarantee a contraction in stocks for the upcoming year. Wheat futures also scored seasonal lows early in the week, and the outlook now is starting to turn a little bit more bullish on wheat. Now, I'll caution you, don't get too wild and crazy when you're trying to put the word bullish in wheat. There still is a large batch of wheat worldwide. However, the hot and dry conditions in Europe and in the Black Sea region are helping to support wheat here going into this week. Soybean futures slipped to a 21-week low last week, but did finish on the week a little bit higher than the week prior. The main event, of course, was the stocks report. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thank you, Ryan. Market's getting a nice jump start to the week here with July corn up 8 cents in the overnight trade at $4.33 a bushel. September $4.30 1/4 up 7 1/4, and December corn $4.49 1/4 up by 7 3/4. July soybeans 11 cents to the good overnight, $11.42 3/4. August 11.56 a bushel, up 19 3/4, and November new crop beans up 20 1/4 at 11.68 a bushel. Wheat for July 2 3/4 higher at 5.93 1/4. September 6.07 up by 7 1/4. The livestock markets after Thursday's close for live cattle: August 239.22 down 260, October down 242 at 234.30. Lean hogs for July up 50 cents at 93.85, and September feeders down 370 at 358.47. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Ty Higgins. We'll see you down the road.